Number one, Eagle Sanitary Survey and Project Update. Is there anybody here from Eagle? Jason is here. Thank you, Jason. And I do apologize. I do want to recognize Commissioner Warren, our co-chair is here, city manager is here, and also our deputy clerk is here. So just for the record, we don't need to approve the minutes. The minutes have already been approved. Jason, you had the floor.
Yep.
Do me a favor. You already know.
Jason Mark with AdMarsh. I wanted to talk through a couple things on what the city is going to be. The city's been working with Eagle on their updated sanitary survey. So that is a survey that they do on the water system. I'm going to go as fast and slow at the same time as possible. I got a lot of stuff on here. I did provide a lot of tables for all the committee members, all the commissioners, so that you guys have it. There's nothing to move forward on this. This is an update on kind of what to expect for the next steps. So my agenda, review the 2024 sanitary survey. So Eagles has completed that and submitted that to the city. Review what the next steps will be between Eagle and the city. I want to also review the current PA 53 water funding. That's the fund that's paying for all the improvements out there that you see out there in the city, along with some sewer funding. And then pretty much review the next steps to address ACO with possible revisions to that funding. So this is where we think that Eagle is going to ask the city to maybe revise how they're spending some of that project funding. And quickly, the Eagle Sanitary Survey, the purpose of it is to evaluate compliance with the Michigan Safe Drinking Water Act. It will identify potential risks that may adversely affect drinking water quality. It also allows Eagle to update records. And the report and the survey is required by Eagle from a water system every 3 years. So the city had one done 3 years ago. All municipalities that have water systems get this sanitary survey done every 3 years. The survey was completed by Eagle January 16th of this year. Eagle provided the city basically what the results were March 3rd, so it took a couple months for it to come to the city. The next steps, like I mentioned at the very beginning, Eagle's preparing an amendment to the city's ACO, the Administrative Consent Order. The city has one currently that's in place now to address any new findings on the sanitary survey. And then just a note quickly, if a city or a municipal water system it does have an ACO, it does help the city score when if they apply for future funding. But right now, the city has funding for some of the improvements that I'm going to go over next. Eagle will categorize those findings on that sanitary survey in 4 different ways. Significant deficiencies, required actions, and recommendations. Going back 3 years ago, the last survey, and Eagle has acknowledged that the city actually has completed numerous water system facility and operational improvements. These improvements addressed many of the deficiencies from the prior survey, so I wanted to make sure everybody was aware. In the last 3 years, the city actually completed 71 items from the previous sanitary survey based on a lot of the water projects that you guys all have approved, the stuff that's going on in the city, the stuff that happened at the plant. So very good progress made to date on the previous sanitary survey. Now, I'm not going to go through this in detail, but these are right from the sanitary survey packet. I know Mr. Little possibly sent them out to all the commissioners and staff. The way this reads, this first table is all the work that has been completed. So it's just a large list of things that have been recorded from the previous survey and have been completed. The way this reads too for you guys is the significant deficiencies are listed first, the minor deficiencies next, the recommendations, and the suggestions at the end. So I'm not going to go through them. A lot
Ja-
of,
Jason, do me a favor.
yep.
How many deficiencies were there
Yeah, I
at the
should have had
beginning
that. Oh.
compared to the 71 that was completed, so we can have some kind of percentages that will
I'll have to look at
be
that.
able to
I'll
reference?
have to look at that and compare the
Okay.
two. I don't know how many there is, just based on here unless I counted them.
But 71 was considerable
completed.
amount.
Yeah, 71 was completed.
Okay.
Yep. My apologies on that. So every time I've done a presentation for a municipality that talks about these, these ACO and the sanitary surveys, significant deficiencies, you might think that those are some critical things in the system. I'm going to go over what some of them are in the next slide. But really, very quickly, this is a table that comes from the sanitary survey. It lists the source, so your source water is Lake Michigan. There was a deficiency identified. Treatment is your treatment plant. There were a few deficiencies identified. Your distribution system, which is all the pipes in the streets and throughout the city, there was a significant deficiency identified, and I'm going to go over that quickly. Your finished water storage, there was a deficiency. That's your water tower. Your pumps at your water plant and any monitoring, reporting, some operations, there was only some required actions that was listed. Management operations, there was a significant deficiency identified, and I'm going to go over that. You guys are actually aware of what that is. I'll explain it in detail. But operator compliance, security, like they wanted to have all security around your water tower, your water plant. There's some damages to the security fencing at the water plant. They said required actions. Financial, significant deficiency that ties in with the TMF, which I'm going to talk about next, which is the technical manager and financial report that we've been working on for multiple years. And then any other recommendations. So very quick, high profile, but I will note that these are the actual 7 pages of items that they did for the survey. This reads also from top to bottom, where it lists the significant deficiencies up at top, and then the deficiencies at the second. And then really, they have this color coded where the orange is the ones they want completed. The lighter yellow color are the ones that are recommended actions. So that's in your packet for you to review. I know when I was talking to Mr. Little, he shared it with you, but I wanted to have this in the packet for any future review if you guys want to look at it in the future. And I know I'm going through this fast, but now I have some summaries. So when I talk about the significant deficiencies, there was 3 that was listed. All right. One of them was to provide a detailed plan to Eagle for the hydrant flushing and valve turning program. Right now, the city is doing those services. F&V operations is helping the city staff, DPW, are doing hydrant flushing and valve turning program. What Eagle needs the city to do is to put that in writing. It probably is a 3 to 5 page SOP that needs to get to Eagle to check this significant deficiency off the list. So I think it's pretty easy to do. We could probably draft it up very quickly with city staff and submit it. The second one was to provide a detailed plan to address cross-connection program that Eagle has required for all municipalities to do. I'd like to say that the city actually has, with their operations staff, F&V, they are entering into a cross-connection program. That is going to commercial properties, looking at the way the connection's made inside the buildings, and that's required by Eagle now on all municipalities to have a cross-connection program. They want to make sure that the property plumbing is not backfeeding into the system, providing any type of contamination. That is in motion right now. Even this last Tuesday, we reviewed the cross-connection program that's going to get started with the city. That should check that box with Eagle. And the last one is the biggest one. It's finalized. If everybody remembers, the city's been doing a technical manager and financial capacity study that It was submitted in 2023 showing the shortfall of revenue gap at the water plant. So Eagle still considers that not completed because it's still not showing that the water plant can fund with the customers they got. So those are the three deficiencies, significant deficiencies. It's reporting, really. It's not broken valves out in the system. It's providing these. Now, I think the first two are almost complete. The TMF is still going to be the stuff that talks about the revenue and the water plant and the operational things that Mr. Little's been mentioning and some of the budgets and everything else. Very quickly, the 8 deficiencies, you'll see that a lot of them are all water plant. I put water plant in parentheses on the next, in parentheses. So there's an issue with intake chlorine feed at the water plant. There's a specific chemical that gets put out there at the end of the intake line that helps retreat for mussels. That's what that is.
Jason, do me a favor.
Yep.
It says 8, but it's really 9.
Yeah, yep. I might have jumped one in there or read from the table wrong.
I don't,
Thank you.
we don't want to
9.
build up under the deck, you know?
Yep. It should say 9 deficiencies, thank you. But I'm going to go through these because it ties in with what I'm going to explain next. So there's an issue at the chlorine feed at the water plant. They want to install a hypochlorite transfer pump at the water plant. These are all Eagle recommendations and things that they saw during the survey. They want to also have the city procure a spare alum transfer pump, just to have a spare on site. There is some pre-treatment bypass pumping at the water plant that requires either us to eliminate it or lock it out so it's not being used for bypassing. Replace the filter wash arms. That's actually a part of a planned project already. Properly abandon and isolate filters 1 through 4. That is part of a planned project already at the water plant. One of their findings was to isolate the Grand Boulevard pump station right over there by Grand Boulevard. Right now, it's still essentially open, that you could open that up. Now, that was the pump station that helped provide water to Benton Township years ago. So they just want to lock out the valves there. They want the city to install gaskets on the high service suction well. That's already a planned project. And then they want the city to provide an accurate estimate of uncounted water. And I put it there in parentheses, that's a leak study is what we refer to it. So you end up doing a study to figure out how much water is potentially leaking into the ground from broken valves or your water mains or your hydrants. So those are your 8 deficiencies. I wanted to note most of these are already in the program that you guys have already with the funding that you have received for water. Next steps. So Eagle's going to be working with the city to send a new administrative consent order to negotiate with the city corrective items listed in the sanitary survey. The city has also received bids to do that water plant work that I just mentioned. So the city has already put most of this out as part of a improved project at the water plant. However, the project came in over budget, and that's where I'm going to kind of talk what the next steps and what this might mean for the fund. Eagle has asked the city to consider amending the PA 53 funds to reprioritize the projects with the available funding remaining. So we have projects slated in the distribution system. We have these water plant projects that you all are already working on. And Eagle will potentially ask the city reprioritize those so that you can hit the items on this new ACO. So we're checking as many boxes off as we can.
Can I just ask you to
Yep.
reiterate, because somebody's going to leave here or somebody's on YouTube going to say that you're asking the city for more money. You're just asking us to take money from somewhere else to take care of the things that are necessary
Reprioritize, yep.
reprioritize.
Yep. It's what I
and-
call a zero-sum transfer. So the money at the fund stays the same, and we're reallocating the money to a certain, we might be taking some money from the distribution side to address to the water plant.
What's needed and necessary,
Yes,
basically. Thank you.
exactly, yep. So here's my quick summary of what was all sent out to the city and how the grant was set up. The funding that the city received from Eagle and through the amendment from January lists 4 tasks. The first task was the lead service line replacements. That was finalized at that number associated with this grant I'm talking about. The cost of lead services was much more, but there were more funding sources. The water treatment plant improvements had a budget with Eagle initially established at $4.8 million. Task 3 was the distribution projects that are happening on McAllister, May, Monroe, Pavone, Broadway, East Britain area with Vineyard High, Division and Columbus. Those had a budgeted amount of $23.5 million. And that task 4 was always contractual support services, and that has been always $205,000. So that adds up to your $45 million grant. What the Eagle is going to be presenting in that ACO is, like I said, it's going to be, they're going to be asking you to reprioritize those projects to potentially cover them in the new water plant project. So here is how that $4.8 million was set up in detail. There was some flooring feed improvements that was at $28,000. There was what I call phase 1 of the water treatment plant. That's in the second box. That's been completed. That project came in with the construction and engineering amount at $2.5 million. That included the chlorine feed monitoring, replacement of filter valves, actuators, and controls. The laboratory looks great in the water treatment plant. It's been completely updated. There was a replacement of a surface wash in the facility and more laboratory improvements. So this next one is what I'm calling phase 2. This is the project that I said the city had already put out for bid. These cover a lot of the ACO items that's going to be listed. Plate settler instrumentation replacement, finished water reservoir improvements, rehab of filters 5 through 8, and low service improvements. So that came in at $4.2 million with some engineering for a $4.6 million total project cost. The infrastructure repair allowance, I left those just with the budget numbers of $500,000. That gets you at $7.7 million. So essentially what I wanted to bring up was this was how the budget was set. That line item for task 2 is at $4.8 million. So you can see that the plant project came in higher than anticipated. Total cost of the water plant improvements is just over $7.7 million. And Eagle and the city originally had targeted and earmarked 4.8. So Eagle is probably going to be asking the city to reprioritize so that these improvements at the water plant can happen. How do we do that? Well, we started studying the distribution improvements. And I mentioned a lot of these projects before. Division in Columbus, construction plus engineering was just over 3.3, and then it's complete. Green and Edwards was a $2.6 million project. Let me get my pointer out. May and Monroe was complete last year. That totaled $6.2 million with construction and engineering. Your McAllister, Pavone, and Broadway, that's under contract right now. That is totaling $4 million out of the water fund. The project is actually bigger, but the city is utilizing the sewer funding as well. But this is what impacts to the water fund. East Britain area, which is the High, Britain, and Vineyard project, that's ongoing. That totals 2.8. Pipestone Sewer and Foster, That is more of a sewer project, but there is 127,000 of water improvements along Foster that we had in the plan. Colfax Avenue is actually starting next week, so that's a good plug to say that that project will be starting a little bit next week, more so after 4th of July. But that was anticipated just under 1.2 million of the water fund. In the last amendment, we had to pull Nolan, Madison, Winans off because we were going to be over budget on that. So we made the call of basically leaving those on the capital improvement projects for the city, but wasn't going to be able to do it with the funding that Eagle gave us. And then Superior and Ogden is where we think we can possibly move some money over. Superior and Ogden has not been bid yet. The city hasn't entered a contract with a contractor. And if you end up, so the Superior and Ogden cost for that project is at 2.9. Eagle's asking the city consider to maybe move the money for the Superior and Ogden project over to the water plant fund to get all the water plant items updated so that we're hitting the items that are higher priority on the ACO that they're going to be putting there. So very quickly summary, essentially what I did was if we were to move the money from Superior and Ogden per the recommendations that Eagle's going to be working with the city on, you'd move that dollars from the distribution side over to the water plant side. And you essentially are basically doing what I call a zero-sum transfer. You're moving money from one fund to the other to possibly go ahead and award that contract for Task 2 for the water plant. Right now, this is not moving anything forward. When the ACO comes out from the city, more likely we'll have to do an amendment to that fund that everybody considers to move that money over. Superior and Ogden would just be a next distribution project that would happen with maybe grant dollars, the next possible project that happens in the city, and just keep that in mind as things move forward when the 45 million is used up. So the biggest thing here to take away is potentially being able to move this money to handle the items on the ACO that they're going to update with the city from this year's sanitary survey.
This was part of the discussion that we had during the budget process, in which I was explaining that there are a lot of these other things that are going on that also impact the budget to some degree. For example, they're requiring regular testing that has to go on. I think the requirement was always there, but I'm not sure it was always being done. But we're now doing it, and we're having to pay for it. It comes out of the general fund. Just as when they're talking about, for example, the fences needing to be done, the cutting around the lagoon, all this stuff impacts the budget to some degree.
Thank you. How much is there in that? I think I seen about two.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Million.
So remember you have the distribution side items, and then you also have the water plant engineering that the city actually has contracts with F&V Engineering to do the water plant improvements. So yeah, and they have just about 718K listed as work to be done on the at the plant for engineering.
Commissioner Warren.
So I just have a question about the Superior and Ogden project. That sewer and water, is that something that has a longer useful life?
It essentially is either part of the reliability study that the city adopted for providing good fire flows, adequate flows for the water system. And it doesn't have, we picked that project because it didn't probably have a useful life. So what I would recommend the city do, if we move forward with this, that would just be the top prior project on the CIP list. Another thing that I'd like to discuss with the city after a lot of these improvements are done is basically updating your city model and everything, because now we have all these new water mains in place, and, maybe prioritize projects after that. But yes, that would be, it was picked for the reason, because it was listed as part of an improved project as a past study.
Thank you for an excellent presentation and update, and we do appreciate your time and your effort. And there's nothing we're moving forward, right?
This was just an update.
All right, so I'm sure the city manager will be getting us most of the information, and thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Appreciate it. Next, we have reports, economic development resolution to amend downtown social district redevelopment liquor license policy. City manager, you have the floor.
Yes, sir. After we approved the action that was taken to establish the social district, we outlined the provisions that we wanted in there and named it, I believe, redevelopment district. It was pointed out to us by a person that was consultant who had previously worked for the Liquor Control Commission, that the provisions we had outlined really fit under the description of the Downtown Development Authority social district as opposed to the redevelopment district. And that in order to pull that together properly, we just needed to rename it. And we can do that. It doesn't change anything else in it except the name.
So it's still falling up under the confines of the city council. It's not going to be under the downtown DDA or anything. All right. Thank you. You got any questions on that, Commissioner Warren? Being that there's no questions on that, let's move forward to Park and Recreation. Oh, please feel free.
I don't know if I misread that. I think I heard what you said, but it's going to be downtown redevelopment is going to change to downtown development.
Yeah, simply because we don't actually have a redevelopment district by name as such. We in fact have a DDA. The requirements on the law is you have it under one or the other. And since there was slight difference in the provisions under redevelopment district from DDA, and what we had spelled out are the provisions that are in the Downtown Development Authority district. Nothing but a name change.
So redevelopment has their own criteria and development has their own criteria. So what is the difference? There's two, I'm hearing you saying there's two of them. So
I believe that for the redevelopment district, the assessor has to certify that there has been something like, I believe, several $1 million of development within a period of time. Under the downtown development district, if the business is investing $75,000 in this business, or if there's been $200,000 invested in the district, then that meets the requirement. And we spelled out the 200,000 and 75,000. We didn't do the couple of million in this redevelopment.
So if a person wanted to build something brand new in the city, they would benefit from redevelopment then? No? It has something to do with the liquor license, licensee, or how?
That's available under both. But as I said, the one that we've chosen that has, in our opinion, more benefit, and the fact that we have a downtown development authority, where a district where we don't have a redevelopment district.
Okay. Could you give us a legal opinion on what you're saying? Because I'm reading, but of course, I'm asking for a legal, our attorney to define it for us. Can you do that for us through the chair?
Thank you. Can you get that done for us? Thank you.
Actually, what I can do is just get a copy of the law and provide it to you.
Well, if she wants it from the attorney, if the commissioner wants it from the attorney, then let's get it to the attorney. Just
All right.
give it to her, and
We'll do it.
and put a name on it. Any other further questions about the resolution to amend downtown social district redevelopment liquor license policy? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, we're moving to Park and Recreations. Is there anything on Park and Recreations? I do, I want to add something to the agenda real quickly, and it will be quick. The park that's across from Mayor Hightower's house, we want to rename that park after Mayor Hightower. So all the information I got, I know you guys don't want me to read all this, his bio and all that, but Mayor Hightower was very influential. Devoted resident of the city of Benton Harbor, he received his primary education in Benton Harbor area schools. Proud alum of Benton Harbor High School in 1971, a graduate of California College, Health Science Respiratory Therapy Program, Cypress Bible Institute, all these to provide access to sleep medicine in Southwest Michigan. He took on the task of opening up and managing 2 sleep order and treatment centers for Lakeland Health, one in Niles, one in St. Joe. 2011, he was promoted to Director of Trauma and Clinical Service. I'm just paraphrasing. Also, he was elected as the first public official in November 2007 as the second ward commissioner. In this position, he wrote a charter amendment to vote residents, the first charter amendment in decades. Goes on to say that he was the one that, under the reopening of Charles Gray Recreation Center, advocate for the investment in city parks. First emergency manager tenure ended abruptly due to his error in failing to place a millage renewal on the ballot, leading to the special assessment to avoid city bankruptcy. Mayor Hightower arranged a meeting between City Commissioners Marcus Muhammad and Dwayne Seats and Department Treasurer, resulting in the emergency manager's dismissal. On and on and on, but I just believe that it just behooves us to celebrate those who have done remarkable things in our community. We've named a lot of things after everybody else. Him and his wife do maintain that park. They clean it up. They plant flowers. They do everything in that park for the last, 15 years. I don't see anything wrong with it. We got 3 weeks to have a meeting, and hopefully we'll have something to present. And if any object, they'll be at that meeting. Is there any, Commissioner Warren?
I don't object to it.
Commissioner Isom?
What's the name of the park?
The Mayor James Hightower Park. Commissioner Henry?
I'll wait.
Thank you. Being that there's no, do you have anything, City Manager?
Yes, I just wanted to give a brief report in terms of our park activity.
I apologize.
I'm certain that probably many of you noticed that there's heavy equipment working now in Hall Park. They are preparing to put in the basketball court, and other work will be going on as it continues through. Yesterday, we had a ribbon cutting at Martin Park for the fountain. Thanks to Whirlpool Foundation and their staff, they had the Day of Impact where a number of employees came out and helped clean and put things together. And we certainly appreciate them very much for all that they do for us on that. We will be shortly beginning work on the Bobo Brazil Center with the $1 million Leo grant that we have and the $500,000 environmental justice grant that we got from the state. It will begin with correcting deficiencies in the envelope, replacing the roofing on it, replacing the windows with energy efficient windows, and there may be some tuck pointing if needed, and then we'll go to the front and the first floor to begin working on that. In the meantime, the ball continues to bat back and forth about the community change grant for $20 million that we had received that was blocked by the administration. As late as last week, I understand another federal judge ruled that that money should be released, but we'll see what happens when it happens. We don't know. So that's pretty much we're working on all of our parks, cutting them and so forth. We're using city crews and also working to pull in the entities that have offered to adopt parks. We've got 3 of them, and we're working with them too. But that's basically what I indicated this time.
I want to thank you, City Manager. The parks have never looked this good. Morton Park, I was astonished that Whirlpool took money to make the fountain corrected and also put more money and resources out there. The misnomer that somebody's fixing the parks for somebody else, by the time you get done tearing them up, nobody can fix them. They put bathrooms out there. We got to lock them up so nobody breaks in and tears them up. You know, in Union Field, the bathrooms were junked and trashed, and I didn't see any out-of-town plates out there. Down here at Mickey Yarborough Park, I haven't seen too many out-of-town plates there, but somebody's junking them. So maybe we need to hire some security or something to go down there and keep an investment safe, because nobody has to do anything, but they do. And I commend you, City Manager, for your stick-to-itness, for making sure that, to see what's happening down there at Hull Park right now, the heavy equipment trucks and just the whole thing. It had to take a vision to make that happen, and you've been stick to it. And even with Whirlpool, to see all those volunteers out there, it was remarkable. I can't wait to see the fountain just go up and the lights and just everything that's happening. They got benches and picnic tables and everything out there that Benton Harbor could not afford to do. So somebody had to make it happen. Commissioner Henry?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Well, I want to talk about Gene Clark Park. When I asked the question through the chair to the city manager, is there someone manning the kiosk out there? That's my first question, and there'll be plenty more questions after that.
There's somebody manning the kiosk.
No.
Okay. So when I go out there, I see more golf carts without any tags on it from the city, just parked leisurely and having a good time. But if we don't have anybody watching the store, we're in trouble. Even though we made some mistakes on the fees and the ticketing, we came back to realize that that was a big mistake, and I'm sure we're going to fix it. But why are we letting all of these people come from outside of the city and have free parking?
Are you serious?
I didn't say
I
we
got
were.
pictures of it. I can show you picture after picture after picture. Because I get out and look at it to see if there's a sticker on these golf carts, and there's no sticker on them. There's no license plates on them. They come in through Ridgeway sometimes, or they just come in through the gate, either way.
You asked the question, is there someone manning the kiosk? And I said no. Now, we have been in the hiring process and brought one on board yesterday that was going through training that will be driving the car that automatically reads the plates to issue tickets to the people who have not paid. That we experience as a problem with trying to hire people. We've been constantly saying that we're having difficulty hiring people, even the people we were hiring to help cut grass. One was arrested and dismissed this weekend, and another one, two others, failed a drug test. I mean, we're doing the best we can do. And we will be putting other people out also to monitor and man those vehicles. I've had the young lady downstairs that kind of monitors parks for us. She's been going out also, driving the vehicle to monitor. So we don't have the level of coverage yet that we want, but we are working on it.
Well, we have officers in the fire department as well as the police department. And I know we got a full staff. I mean, it's just unbelievable that people are so disrespectful that they would just come and park and they know that they're not getting jeopardy. They're not being. So I'm just saying that if we don't watch our resources and our assets, it will. They're not showing us any respect. They wouldn't do
totally
that
agree.
in those other parks.
Are they golfing?
No, they're not. They're riding.
Yeah.
You know, we allow them to come into the park, but they have to come and get a permit from the city of Benton Harbor.
Isn't there not holes? Do they have a hole out there in Gene Clark Park somewhere? I know because
No, I'm not talking about golfers. I'm talking about
Oh,
family.
oh, you're talking
people
about family
with
just riding.
kids and everybody coming to the park, going down to the water, enjoying the water, and coming in free, and not getting the sticker from the city. That's something we put in place.
I've met with the police department. I want them to do the enforcement on the golf carts, the dogs, and that end.
They could drive through
yeah.
there. It don't take much.
That's right. But they got to get out of the
So
car.
they got dogs riding
and
on the golf
attend to
carts
it.
too?
Yeah, we got dogs running through the sand and whatnot when there's signs all over saying dogs are not allowed.
So there's, I'm hearing so much right now. I'll go out there tomorrow with you, and if we find, I want to see it. You got videos or pictures and all that?
I'm not having videos because they were parked. I just took pictures of them, and the date is on my camera.
And they're riding in golf course with kids and all that,
They bring their family,
and the dog and everything. That's fine.
everybody, and they're doing it blatantly. It's just disrespectful.
I can chime in. I go to Gene Clark Park quite often, and I do see at least when I go at least one golf cart, and I do see some people walking dogs. I don't know how consistent it is, but I have seen
It is consistent. It is consistent, and it's
So,
very
Are
disrespectful.
they cleaning up
too.
behind the dog?
That depends. If I see them, they clean up behind them.
So there's no stickers. I wanted to say that. When you see the cars, there's not going to be any stickers on them. We're registering people license plates when they come down.
There's no license plates on these golf carts.
Right, I understand those golf carts, but I'm just saying if you see the cars, there's not going to be any stickers.
No, I'm not talking about cars, because that I can't determine that.
Dogs. I mean, is it big dogs, little dogs?
They can't walk them on the sidewalk, and definitely not in the sand. But if, like I said, if
Are
nobody's
they-
watching the store,
I know we can't stop service animals.
but no, you can't stop service animals. That's different.
Can't stop service animals.
That's different. We're talking about your lovely pets. And the emergency manager put in there, if you got a cat, you gotta have a cat on a leash too.
The cat got to be on a leash if there's out
I
there at
don't
the
agree
beach.
to that, but hey, that's what it is.
You got to overturn the law.
Now then, let me go to my second and third understanding about Grand Boulevard. They have signs up that says no entry. That is the north end of Gene Clark Park, and it is not a private street. If we're not watching, they're doing exactly what they want to do. So I don't know who's going to regulate that sign, but if I didn't know, and I ran up on a sign that said, this is a private road and you cannot get through, I would turn around.
Can I chime in on that? So that side, per my understanding, is there's these little things. If you go the wrong way, your tires will be
No,
flattened.
no, that's not the case.
Oh, she's talking about where they had the pylons and
Going to
concrete.
Grand Boulevard right
Yeah.
there. Like I can exit there, but you can't enter there. Are you saying you can enter somewhere?
You enter and you absolutely.
So why don't,
It's
why
our
don't,
park and when they have events down on the other side, that's the interest for the general public to come through.
why don't we bring that back and see what we can do to, we'll get with Abin Marsh and see what Abin Marsh suggests for us to secure that area.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, we have to, I don't have an engineer.
And just the fact that they built the houses taller than 35 feet over there, and nobody said anything, nobody did anything, and it was okay then. So whatever Amber March says, I guess that's
No,
what goes.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying for our security. So if we can secure that entrance, then it won't be an issue, but you can't stop people from, they can walk from anywhere and go on to Gene Clark Park, walking.
I'm not talking walking. I'm talking movement with a car. That north end should not be taken away from the general public.
And it won't be. I'm aware of the concerns. We will address them.
Well, the summer is almost gone now.
No, the summer just started.
How it is now. It ain't just,
The official first day
It
of
ain't
summer
over.
was 2 days ago.
it's definitely not over. My air conditioner just told me that.
All right, so we're gonna ask them to address the problem because that association out there is responsible. So when they infringe upon Gene Clark Park in the backside of their house, and nobody says anything, it's okay. Nobody says anything, it's okay.
Madam Commissioner, we will say something, and we'll report back to you where we're
Are
going.
these residents, these are still residents of Benton Harbor.
They are, and they pay a nice penny to live like they
Yeah,
live.
but I'm saying they are residents of Benton Harbor.
Absolutely, they
Yeah.
are.
So if somebody coming from Pavone or coming from Grand Boulevard and they're paying taxes, aren't their license plates registered with the city, with Grand Boulevard too? They're not registered? If you're a city resident, you don't pay. But I'm saying if they're a resident,
They're a resident and they drive their car there, then their car should be, but not a golf cart.
We will sort through it and
yeah,
attempt to get it done
'cause
right.
that'll be saying
Yeah,
if I,
tell them to take those signs down.
well, no,
Clarify
because
it.
if I drive my motorcycle down there and my car is registered, well, yeah, so we'll just tell them that they have to get their golf cart registered. But I do have a concern with people bringing dogs. You know, I don't want to be down there swimming with Great Dane. You know, yeah, stepping in Great Dane, you know.
Now, the key to it is enforcement, and we're going to have the police department start to enforce those rules to make sure that things are as they should be.
Thank you. Approval of purchase of properties, other business. I'm going to deal with this real quick. This is something that we do every year. They had a first right of refusal to buy property that is on the list. It's nothing new. We've been doing this for the last 3 years. Is it 3 years? At least 3 years. To have the first right of refusal to property that has been foreclosed. We've been hit over the head with taxes and already buyback and all that. We've done this every year. Is there any questions on it?
How many properties are we trying to buy now?
19.
We're buying 19 properties that already owe us money, and we're going to try to get the best bang for our buck. City manager is negotiating that with the county. Commissioner Henry.
Now, as you know, Chair, I watch the AP list every time it comes out. So, last month, we paid out a lot of money for taxes to the county. Now we're gonna purchase some more property from them. We've had a moratorium on this for almost 2 years or more, for how, and we're collecting property, and none of us as elected officials know where the property is.
We will give you a list of all the properties. City manager, you have a list of all the properties? But you said 19 properties. You have a list of all the properties? Does anybody have a list of all the properties?
These 19 properties, aren't they attached to the, yeah. Yeah.
They're attached to the email that was sent to us. Okay? So, and if you have any questions about that, we got 3 weeks till the next meeting. I think it's 3 weeks. All right, 3 weeks till the next meeting. Could staff please answer any questions that has anything to do with this agenda? Because I do want, this is meat and potato night. We're kicking the can down the road, and the can has been kicked, and we not ate meat and potatoes. Do you have any problem with that, Commissioner Warren?
I do not.
We're moving that forward. Public comments. Anybody in the audience have anything to add extra that you want to talk about that add to our agenda? Real quickly.
City Manager Little, would this be the time?
Time for. Could you do me a favor, state your name and who you represent, please, sir?
Absolutely. My name is Andrew Hahn. I represent Cornerstone Alliance. Thank you for your time tonight. Let me get our computer going here. What do I need to do to get this monitor to? I am plugged in, yes.
There we go.
Oh,
Is that you're giving us motorcycles?
I'll ride mine to the beach sometime too. I'll be sure to pay too. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to try and make this fairly condensed. We're here to talk tonight about some opportunities to bring some additional revenue to the city to make some improvements that we hope we're confident would benefit. So I'm going to talk about something called the Business Improvement Zone. Real quickly, a little bit about what it takes to make a great place, a couple shots of current conditions, what a biz is, how you set one up, just a second on some survey results we've already heard, and then what the next steps would be. So a lot of this stuff is really intuitive. Can you hear me? Oh, sorry. A lot of this is really intuitive, right? What makes a great place? A vibrant mix of businesses and attractions, people out enjoying the space. And we have a lot of those components already. Well-designed public spaces. Pay attention to the street trees. It'll come up again in a second. Great furniture, having all those fixtures and amenities within your district. Events and programming are really critical too. We got a handful, but having a really well-programmed place will draw people in, it will draw more business, and it will help build community. Another critical thing is coordinated branding and communications. So really having that look and feel for your place, whether that's a downtown or a business district or a corridor, and having really good communications too, so people know what's going on, can get connected, be engaged, be involved. And then really having that robust maintenance and sanitation. You got to take care of your place. And then lastly, and probably most important, what you're doing has to be relevant for the whole community. It's got to be diverse offerings, whether that's the businesses or the events, and it's got to be welcoming for all. So this gets us to the discussion that we're going to get to here tonight. So last year, we had been reached out to by some property owners in downtown concerned with some of the conditions with the public space maintenance and other things that just weren't at the level that really is demanded for a great busy business district. We had some early discussions on what some of the tools are that are out there that can help improve places. Of course, there is a Downtown Development Authority that does not have a TIF plan. That is something that the city could do. That would, however, result in some of that growth not going through to the general fund. So if you ever want to talk about DDA TIF, we're happy to do that. One of the things that I've noticed is that, we'll bring a prospect in that's looking to maybe do an industrial facility somewhere in the city, in the county. We're doing a tour of this beautiful place, and I'll be driving and have to kind of be like, oh, I better not go that way. The weeds are 4 feet high, right? We want to put our best foot forward. So a couple of bits on just some of the existing conditions down here. On the left, that branding piece, right? Having your district name and your events up on the brackets on the banners. We haven't done that in a while. If you look down on that picture on the right, you'll see 4 spots where there used to be street trees, and there aren't street trees now. Lot of weeds, a lot of, a lack of maintenance. This stuff is hard to do. It's hard to fund. We know the city is absolutely in a pinch right now. So there's a really great tool that can help fill this void. It's called the Business Improvement Zone. This goes all the way back to 1961. It is a long-used tool. It's employed all across the state, and it basically means that the property owners can come together, talk about what they feel like they would benefit from and what the district would benefit from, do some engagement, come up with a plan, figure out how to assess, how to pay for that, and then do an election to basically see if people are willing to foot the bill to do it. No cost to the city. So this is from a fact sheet from the state. I'm not going to read deeply into that, but I do want to zip right through this real quick. So what can they do? They can maintain and operate park areas and planting areas. They can maintain or reconstruct sidewalks, street curbs, medians, fountains, lighting, furniture, promote events and recreational activities. They can engage in economic development activities. And the really important thing to remember is that anything that these funds would be spent on have to come back to a plan that is passed. So in that plan, that would lay out a proposed board of directors, the description of the projects, the scope.
All right. Do me a favor. Because this sounds a little bit more intense than, and I'm listening to what you're saying, but to start establishing board of directors and, yeah, downtown DDA, understood, but, this wasn't on the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. That was your, okay, well,
I will
continue.
try and be very quick.
No,
We
continue.
have
I
some
didn't-
guests to join us,
Because
so.
I would have loved to have this right after the Eagle presentation, and this is public comments right now. But continue.
Okay, thank you. So what's in the plan? It talks about what the activities are, what those expenditures would be, and then the assessment formula. And these things can only be around for 7 to 10 years. They don't go on forever. So, we have taken a look at what some of the areas could be that could benefit, and the people that we've heard from that are really interested in chipping in and helping lift up the downtown area. I almost think of it as an arts district plus. Granted, the arts district doesn't have a strictly defined barrier, or boundary rather, but kind of that arts district area extending up to Main Street where there's that concentration of businesses. Couple important things to note: there are properties that could be accessible and ones that can't. So commercial properties can be assessed, renter-occupied residential can be, governments cannot. Religious and charitable orgs cannot be assessed through this, nor can educational institutions. They could opt in if they found value and wanted to lift up. Certainly, Cornerstone Alliance, as a property owner, would be willing to chip in based on that, whatever that formula was that came up. And we've heard from other partners, for-profit and nonprofit, about this. So this is a real complicated part, but I wanted to give the simplest example because there's a lot of different ways you could calculate an assessment. It's all about what the activities are and how you benefit from them. If you were doing something so simple as just doing snow removal, you do it based on the linear feet frontage that you have for your business. Real easy. If there's other activities, then there's other ways to calculate based on square footage of the property, assessment, et cetera. This is a little bit about the process. We're very early. We've just had a few conversations from some supportive property owners. So you got to have a steering committee. We've done a little bit of engagement and have done a survey. I'm going to just talk real quick about a couple results. Then you got to build your plan. You got to figure out what you want to do, what it's going to cost, and how you'd propose paying for it. You got to present that to the stakeholders, get their buy-in, and then get a 30% of the property owners that would be in the area have to sign off on a petition. That petition is submitted to the city, and the city then chooses if they would like to put it up for a vote by mail of those property owners. So, and then when that happens, I believe it is a 60% supermajority has to vote to approve it. Real quick, how these things benefit a city or a village. They secure a new source of funding for needed improvements. They lift the standard of maintenance. You're going to see increased visitors, more tax base. And something that's really nice about this is the city's immune from any administrative burden or any liabilities for actions of a potential business improvement zone. This stuff should not come as a surprise. We surveyed people, it's kind of hard to read, but trash removal was a priority. Sidewalk sweeping, street sweeping, graffiti removal. Landscaping and planters were at the top of this question. Bike racks, litter receptacles, benches and seating. Events and festivals rank really high, having like guides and brochures. Holiday decor, that's something that the DDA is really focused on, but they struggle with it. It's a challenge to find the money to do that and do it well. Signage and the banners that I mentioned. And then things like alley improvements, pavement and sidewalk repairs, directional signage, street trees, all the stuff that make up a great downtown. I'm happy to give the full survey to Commissioner, or rather City Manager Little to share. Again, we're early. We've just started some discussions on this. We wanted to get this in front of you so you knew those discussions were happening. So before, there is no action to be taken at this point. We have several partners here from Clement Construction. Ken Ankley is a big stakeholder here. Dan Morissette is here as a listener and observer. I know you're a stakeholder, and Harbor Shores has been supportive. We think this is something that could be a new revenue source, really lift up the downtown and put our best foot forward. We got more engagement and outreach to do. We've got to build a plan, come up with that proposed assessment, and then the petition, and then present that to the city. So I really try to talk fast. I'm happy to
you're
answer
good.
any questions.
I appreciate that. Can you do me a favor and come back next meeting?
Sure.
And we'll put you on the agenda just so we can, better partner or whatever. And I know within 30 days you're going to make some monumental strides anyway, so.
Well, we will have some more feedback to share with you at that point. So appreciate it.
And I do appreciate it. I think, and on behalf of the city manager, I would say that under the financial constraints that we are under, it will be beneficial to have partners in cleaning up grass cracks. And a lot of these properties that I've seen over there, the owners have a lot to do with that too. So if the owner is not, and if it's city property, then we need to clean it up too. But if it's, maybe they can come up with something where their district cleans up their district.
Yep.
But with rainfall and all these other things that we've had in the past, it's hard to get immaculate when a lot of those buildings that I've seen pictures of were dilapidated. So with the beautification of the building, which I'm seeing a lot of new construction and signs, we will hope that people will continue to try to beautify their areas and make this something that we can all be proud of. So I do appreciate the presentation. I wish I would have knew, because when you hooked up your computer, I'm like, whoa, what's going on here?
And Mr. Chairman, I would like to thank Andrew for this. I asked for it, But with the kind of week we've had and with Tiffany gone, and I'm trying to remember all these things, I did everything except put it on the agenda. And I thank you for doing this and coming forward.
Does anyone, I don't know, I guess it's not my place. You can ask for comment.
Well, it's public comments now. I mean, if anybody else wants to share, or I know my co-chair has to leave soon, but we can definitely.
And I'm
you
happy
know.
to answer questions from anyone on the dais if there are any, or save that for next time.
Next time.
You said what? Commissioner Henry, you said next time?
He coming back next month, right?
Yeah, we definitely want you on our agenda for next month.
Ready?
Yeah. Anybody else want to share any before we?
I would only like to support the concept, and anything that is done that improves the city's image is a positive thing. We want to double our population by 2040, if I'm not correct. It's been said. If you want to attract people, you've got to make it look good. This is a vehicle to do it.
2040, I'll be. If it doubles by 2040, then I'll be on the back nine. So,
It's aspirational. Let's leave it at that.
yeah, definitely.
One other public comment then also with Harbor Shores totally supports this. We're one of those agencies that are nonprofit that would not be eligible unless we opt in, and we would be certainly interested in opting in to help contribute to the beautification of the downtown area. It seems like a great option to raise the funds amongst the property owners that would be benefiting from this, and it doesn't really involve any impact or involvement on the city's behalf, so we're supportive for that. I'm also supportive as the current owner of the Avonmarsh buildings as well. So just wanted to lend that support.
Definitely appreciate that, Mr. Cook, and for everything you've done for the city in past times. We appreciate you too. Your voice means a lot.
If I may offer just one super kind of summary comment, a lot of this work is happening. We've got stakeholders here that are putting more than their fair share into doing this maintenance. This basically gives, the city affords those stakeholders a way to equitably distribute that. There's already people paying in and doing this work, so it makes it a way to collect it and get it out the door. So thank you. I look forward to talking more next time. I'll make sure you have a brief on that.
Yeah, just I wish I'd have knew. I mean, I don't need lunch or dinner or breakfast. Just
You got it.
give me a phone call and I'll be willing to listen.
Okay.
That being all, anybody else have any public comments on the parks or recreation or anything else? And that being,
Will you share that with us?
I'm sorry, say again?
Will you share that presentation with us?
Sure.
Thank you.
and I do appreciate everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you for waiting and being attentive to all the things that are happening. And God bless. Good night. And everybody have a wonderful week.